the steer pasture this morning, but you might notice something's missing on the front of the tractor. I don't have a bale with me. That is because the landowners need to do some work here in this first pasture where the ring feeder is. So I need to move the ring feeder and then I can drop the bale in it in its new location. We got plenty to do today and not a lot of time to do it. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Hold your horses. You gotta get the net on. Well, that ought to keep them happy for a little while. In the last video, I showed you guys how I've been playing around with just loading that feeder right out of the back of my truck instead of driving it all the way back to the barn and loading it up there. What I've kind of come to decide is that I like both ways, and I'll probably from here on out do a combination of the two. I think it is good to move that feed wagon every once in a while, not only to reduce the amount of mud that they're standing in while they're eating at it, but also, as you notice, when we pull away, there's a bunch of hay that falls down through the cracks on the boards in the feed wagon, and when we move it, it gives the cows access so that they can go in and clean up the rest of that. Back here at the house now, and I think that today I can finally get this bumper put back on the stock trailer. You'll have to excuse the background noise. A couple days ago, I came down here where the bumper attaches to the trailer, got this all cleaned up, and sprayed some bed liner on it. And now, I think we are ready to put the bumper back on. This has had a couple days to dry. I got my new bolts here ready to go, so I don't think there's really anything stopping me anymore. It's just a matter of doing it. The black rubber bumper here bolts onto the end of the trailer. That should be pretty obvious. But what's maybe not as obvious is that inside that rubber bumper, there is this strip of aluminum with holes drilled through it, and that all sandwiches together to make the rubber stronger, I guess is the way, or the reason that they did it that way. This piece has a lot of corrosion on it, doesn't look that great, and it is broken. That was like the whole reason that kind of jump-started this project. So I either need to cut out an entirely new strip and then use this as a template to try to get the holes in the right spot, or I need to cut out at least a little strip that can fill in for where the broken piece is missing. Little change of plans here. I decided that I just really don't want to chop up any of my big pieces of aluminum, especially when I've got all these little scrap pieces everywhere from the last project that I did on the trailer. I've got just a ton of little drop pieces like this. So my plan is, rather than cut a long strip, I'll just cut some smaller strips out of these scrap pieces and think of them, they will act like gigantic washers, which is essentially what the other piece was anyway. So if this ends up not being strong enough for whatever reason, you know, we'll be no worse off than we are now, and I can go back and fix it with one single strip like it probably should be. But for now, if this will work, it'll be like 100 times easier, so we're gonna give it a try. I figured before I put the bumper back on there, I'd try to clean all of this junk off of here. And one of these holes is torn out where it was broken, which I kind of forgot about. And it just kind of got me thinking, where do you even get a new rubber bumper like this? I have not looked. I don't know, maybe they're really easy to come by, but if you know where to get this, let me know in the comments. Let's call it good there. I think it goes this way. I'm suddenly having this feeling that it's going to be really hard to get all this stuff to line up. Maybe this one most of all. Well, it did go. So I'm not getting this fully tight right now, just enough to engage the nylon on the nylock nut, just so that I don't lose it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all the bolts in loosely first, and then hopefully we can get everything to line up that way. I don't know. We shall see. This one. Oh, we got it. Look at that. I'm having trouble getting this washer on the bolt, so I think if I put it on this little punch like that, I can get it kind of close. And then think it just went on. Or, you know. This guy to start. There, that sounded promising. Okay, I'm down here to my last 2 bolts, which will use these plates that I cut out. And yeah, let's see how this goes. Hardest part about these plates might be getting them slid down here. There it is. I feel like most of what I'm filming right now is not going to make it into the video because you can't really see what I'm doing. I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just going off a feel. And I just don't think that really makes for great video. New strategy. We're going to take a regular nut, put it in the socket, and then we'll take the nylock, put it there, so that it sticks out of the socket a little bit. If I can just get it started, I'll have it. Is that it? Maybe. Feels like something happened. Ha. There you go. Okay. These are all in. We can go ahead, tighten them down. Alright. I guess that's that. Well, hello, Billy. What do you think? You show up when the work's over? What does that say about you? Well, that certainly looks much better than it did before, and I know a lot of people have noticed this in videos and asked me why I haven't fixed it. Well, you see what a pain it is. That's a big reason why I've been putting it off. As I'm looking at this, though, and I've mentioned before, but the reason that the bumper breaks off of the trailer is because when you're loading cows in the slide gate here, as they step in, a lot of times they'll use this bumper like a step. So I think that if this ends up happening again, which won't surprise me if it does, but what I'll need to do is to add another mounting bolt here on the end, similar to how it is on the other end, the corner of the trailer. I'm not sure why they didn't put one here, but you've got this tail kind of hanging out here in no man's land, and when they step on that, they get some leverage, and that's probably how they tore that out before. But for now, this looks pretty good, so I'm gonna call it a win. I thought I would rearrange this net a little bit to give the chickens some fresh grass, and while I wasn't really able to give them that much, they're pretty happy to get what they got here. And as I look out over the property here, there's still quite a bit of room down there where we're just not going to be able to get to unless I start breaking these nets in two and and sort of move them along like that. But if I do that, I'll need some sort of a mobile house, which is something that I've talked about making for a while, and it would probably be a good thing to have, because if the chickens don't go and mow all this grass down, then guess who's got to do it? So I guess the question I need to ask myself is it more work to build a mobile chicken house, or is it more work to keep this area mowed for the next several months? And I think I would rather let the chickens do it. But I think that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.